once or twice whether or not I hear voices. The truth is, I have, yes. Is that crazy? My name is Summer. Welcome to my channel. If you're here, you're probably interested in a number of supernatural, metaphysical, New Age type topics. And if you are that interested, you probably have come across ghost stories. Everybody comes across ghost stories. What we're here to talk about today is something that psychics generally term as clairaudience. It's the ability to hear voices from spirits or from disincarnates, disembodied entities. And hearing voices just in and of itself is not crazy. Especially if you're a balanced individual, you will be able to have more expansive contact with people that are not just here, but beyond what we call third density, what we call physical reality. Now, there is still a physicalness to fourth density, so I guess it's not really fair to say that. Okay, Sarah's saying, past that, the density is still very physical, but it's actually just less dense. So it's a lot more expansive, yes, and a lot more flowing, more like gaseous rather than fluid. Now, there's an example of Sarah talking to me, and how is she talking to me? She's talking to me in thoughts. And I know she's talking to me in thoughts because there's a sort of disagreement between what I'm saying and what's coming from almost like a secondary source in there. A lot of times, most regular people will have this experience in their life where you suddenly get inspired by an idea, where you suddenly remember something, or you suddenly have a sense activate, where you remember something. Could be a piece of music, it could be like a particular scent that's around you that doesn't really seem like it should be there. Like you could smell like cigar smoke, for example. That reminds you of someone you used to know distinctly smoked cigars or cigarettes. It could be something simple like baking cakes or something like that. Like if you had like a favorite grandmother who was always in the kitchen baking like cakes or pastries or something like that, you might be able to smell that. I know myself, Sarah has made me smell everything from like chocolate to like vomit when she's wanted me to get the point about various things. She can activate all kinds of things inside of me to get me to move in particular directions. But the reason why I can hear her is specifically for my purpose. Most of the people out there, though, who have this ability, you're not aware of it whatsoever. In fact, let me just point out that the majority of what I'm speaking right now is kind of a blend between me and Sarah. But in terms of my focus and understanding, I'm completely unaware of what's her and what's me. And it's irrelevant because the whole point is my particular story. It's the same thing with everyone else out there. Sometimes you don't realize that your guides are speaking through you in order to express the story that you need to play out. They hold, in essence, what you can consider to be like a bracket, a sort of brace, if you will, so that you hold a particular kind of alignment to the particular story of transformation that you want to play out. So most people will experience this in a story kind of expression. Call it the story of your life. So as you experience this story, you start on one end as something completely different than where you will end up, with always the seed in the beginning of who you are to become by the end of that story, by the end of that transformation. And this is essentially what all life themes are built and organized to do. So, it's completely ordinary for you to be hearing spirits all day long, because essentially your guides are spirits and your guides are speaking through you almost all day long. It can go to the point where you can have interactions with other spirits and other people, but generally speaking, that will fall into your particular brace, your particular alignment that you're held in, if it's necessary for your story. But the whole point of them speaking through you is because you are the point. You are the story, not them, not anyone else. It's all about you. Your story is entirely selfish. It's entirely about you. And that's always why the guides remain in the background. They remain as what I'm trying to theatrically express here, as sort of shrouded, hidden, not the point. I want you not to look so much at my face. I want you to hear my voice, and I want you to feel that you are the person hearing these words spoken through you, and your understanding is what's primarily important in this experience. So, can you actually make contact? Can I? Yes, of course. Anyone can. Everybody has the ability. It's actually a lot more turned on than you think. I'll give you an example from my life of how I ended up learning to speak to Sarah. When I was young, I used to be like a very shy, introverted person. I still am in a lot of senses, but I used to like spend a lot of time in my fantasy, in play acting. I used to build like little toys and little costumes and things like that, and I used to play a lot when I was growing up. I did this for like a long period of my life, even to the point where I ended up going into theater. I studied theater in university for a little bit, and I also studied film and television production a little bit in college. And I've always been kind of mixed up in the realm of that kind of play act. And I understand now that's for a very, very specific life purpose reason, is because I have literally seen that life itself, what we consider to be real, is in fact a kind of play that most of us don't realize that we're playing in. It's like we've been kind of folded, so we can't perceive the behind the scenes so much, and we consider the lives like the only story that we're aware of. But they all are connected to like every other experience in what we consider the afterlife, and dreams, disincarnate spirits, Christ's avatars and things like that, extraterrestrials, all sorts of things are connected to that. And a lot of those people, especially now during the time of awakening, already have made contact with you or are making contact with you in all kinds of ways. There's all kinds of very, very integrated ways that exist in the story of your life that you're not fully aware of, that are complete extraterrestrial contacts or spirit contacts or contacts with ancestors or contacts with just loved ones who are speaking through you in ways you don't understand. In fact, a lot of the times, a lot of close people to your life might actually be guides to you. And they will always express what is of primary importance to you in your life to experience. As you, as the inspiration that you feel great about being, is like them speaking through you. It's your excitement, in a sense, them kind of striking the tone, striking the note that rings inside of you of like what you are most in love with is your higher self being more into the experience of the physical reality, like as it's designed to be. So in this instance, you can have interactions, but all of them are already occurring in the most balanced fashion that they can. It's just that as you start to expand more into your natural self, you will realize that you've been talking to us the entire time, so they say, through me, to all of you. It's just not necessarily appropriate for where most people are at to be able to have those conversations in a friendly, loving kind of way, because it would just be too shocking to the majority of people right now. Even to myself, I'm just sort of beginning this little expression. But I know, like many of you I imagine know, that when you have peripheral instincts of maybe almost like a little bit of a creepy feeling, like in your room at night or when you're quiet, or it can come in the form of a beautiful feeling, like something that gives you kind of chills, right? That makes you feel something you haven't felt in a long, long time. That's a kind of communication. That's a kind of communication with them. So if you really want to learn to listen, you just have to pay attention to what you're doing at each and every single moment of your life. You have to go to your center of your highest excitement, and then you will realize that all the conversations are being had right this moment in the degree and manner and level that best befits you. And like I said, as you expand more naturally into yourself, you will develop a more clear understanding, because that's what that word means. Clairaudience is clear, in a sense, listening or clear hearing of other beings, other people, let's say, because this is really the more balanced way of looking at it. A connection and a conversation that you are having right now with all the spirits as a channel, as myself, having the conversation with all of you who are having a conversation with all of them on the other side. Even this medium of video actually serves as a conduit for that kind of communication. So we all want to say through Summer Wind, you are loved. You are cared for deeply in the most precious house of your highest self. You are forever eternal beings, and you belong exactly in love with yourself, as Summer is here to experience with you. My name is Summer. If you like this content, please subscribe, like, comment, make a video of your own if you'd like. I would love to hear what you have to say. This is Summer saying, have a great day.